Hello, everyone. Hello, this is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. Thank you for being with me tonight on this anniversary, this 2-year anniversary on October 7th, 2023, where 1,200 people were murdered, burned, tortured, and raped in Israel by Hamas, by a terrorist organization. We start with breaking news today in the Oval Office with President Trump at the White House. Today, on the second anniversary of the October 7th attack, President Trump, my man, welcomed Idan Alexander, who was the last American that was saved. He was an American Israeli that was saved by Trump and the IDF and Netanyahu, who was held hostage by Hamas for 584 days, and the family of Omar Nutra to the Oval Office. President Trump is committed to bringing every hostage home. If you know about the life of Omar Nutra, he was also an Israeli American. He was killed on October 7th, and his body was taken to Gaza from a tank stationed, and they found his body. Unfortunately, he died, but the Nutra family had been touring all over America trying to plead to bring his body back, which his body was found. Idan Alexander has made the pledge to go back to Israel, to enlist again in the Israeli Defense Force and fight again for the Jewish people. My monologue tonight comes at a very interesting point in our lives. The Jewish star that I wear tonight is very special because of how the Jewish star was made. I got this Jewish star from a friend of mine who specifically takes missiles that the IDF was able to blockade, was able to stop Iran from killing innocent Israelis and innocent people. This is from one of the missiles that the IDF was able to usurp with the Iron Dome. And that's how this Jewish star was created, with a sapphire diamond in the middle. Very special. We put up our first slide for the monologue. My friend Steve Weinberg wrote today, much of the world seems to have forgotten what Hamas terrorists did on October 7th, 2023. These barbarians beheaded babies and put live ones in ovens. They raped young women in front of their families. They burned whole families alive in their homes, and they murdered over 325 young people at the Nova Peace Music Festival. Then they took 251 hostages. They gang raped the women, and they also gang raped men. And 48 remained 2 years later, kept underground. These people are savages and must be eliminated. The people who were murdered must be remembered on this day. That is truth. For those of you who don't know this, and I've discussed this many times, my father and I were able to obtain and see the 47-minute video of what Hamas did to the 1,200 innocent people. My father and I looked at each other and we said, do we want to watch this? It was in the evening. I said to my dad, I don't know. This is going to be worse than the Holocaust. And he said, we have to see it. We have to see what these barbarians did to our people, because we never want to forget. And what it does, it hardens our heart. It strengthens our heart to fight against this evil. And my father and I, we sat together and we watched it. And we heard the screams, and we saw the rapes, and we saw the murders, and we saw innocent grandmothers get murdered and shot. We saw children get beheaded. We saw the babies burned in the ovens. And we were horrified, and we cried, and we were devastated, because this was not a horror movie. This was not a movie. This was real life. Real life of people not knowing should they open their door or not. Real life to see the minute they opened their door, that Hamas militants who were dressed up as IDF soldiers immediately gunned down their parents in front of them, tied them up, took their babies and threw them in the oven, turned the oven up on high, cremated them right in front of them. The husbands watched their wives being raped by these Hamas militants. The parents watched their children being raped by Hamas militants. This was real life stuff that happened on this day. What happened at the Nova Festival was a heinous crime. People were celebrating Simchat Torah. And all of a sudden, all these Hamas militants came on to the Nova Festival. There was helicopters that were dropping down bombs. And people were swarming into bomb shelters, not knowing if they were going to live or die. And Hamas militants threw grenades into the bomb shelter, into the bunkers, and innocent people were murdered. Some uncles actually sacrificed their lives for their nieces and nephews. There was young people that were running in the bushes, hiding, not knowing if they were going to live and die. There was a very famous picture of a couple. They were a beautiful couple. They were bound to get married. They looked at each other. They knew they were going to die. They kissed right before they were both shot in cold blood. These were real life stories, real life things that happened. We go to the next slide and we talk about a real story. The next slide. On October 7, 2023, Eric and Ruth Peretz were murdered by Hamas. Ruth, 16, was born with cerebral palsy and muscular dystrophy. Her father took her to a music festival, that was the Nova Festival, so she could feel joy. When the terrorists came, he held her tight. They were found together. They died on October 7th. The next slide. Shiva Elon, a 23-year-old music lover, was known for her gentle nature. She was also at the music festival. She went to Nova to dance at sunrise. Sadly, Gazan jihadists discovered her hiding in the forest on October 7th and took her life. Her memory will be preserved. Next slide. This woman, Hirsch Goldberg-Pollen's mother, Rachel Goldberg-Pollen, her son was held hostage by Hamas militants. She and her husband took a piece of duct tape and wrote every single day that her son was in captivity for over a year and a half, waiting and begging the Biden administration to bring their son back. The IDF soldiers were on their way. They knew where Hirsch Goldberg-Pollen was. They were on their way to save his life. And Hamas knew that. So what did Hamas do? They rounded Hirsch Goldberg-Pollen up with 500 other people and shot them to death in the head and in the chest. Instead of Rachel Goldberg-Pollen welcoming her son home, she had to welcome him in a coffin and bury him in Israel. This woman is such a brave woman that she has now toured all over the country and the world, speaking at colleges and universities, talking about her son. Her son would be 25 years old today if he were alive. But to lose your child is the most horrific thing in the world. Another story on October 7th, Colonel Asaf Hamami was spending precious moments with his 5-year-old son, moments before Hamas invaded his home. He gave his 5-year-old son to IDF soldiers, knowing that if he didn't, his son and him would have died. So instead of his son dying, he sacrificed his own life and fought to his death to make sure that his 5-year-old son was alive today. Another story that I read, that I will read from my phone. This is a real story, guys. Amir Abu Sabili, 25 years old, a married father of 2, was driving from his Bedouin village to Sderot to visit his brother on October 7th. On the road, he came across the Swiswa family. Minutes earlier, the father, Dolev, had been fatally shot by terrorists in the car. Amid the chaos, as militants poured into town, Odaya Swissa struggled to drive her daughters to safety and desperately called for help. Amir, on the phone with his father, who begged him to turn back immediately, answered, quote, "Father, there is a mother and 2 girls in front of me in danger. I must help them," unquote. He got into Odaya's car and began following a policeman toward the nearest station, but Hamas was waiting for them at Sderot police station. The 2 terrorists repeatedly shot at the policeman, Amir, and Odaya. Miraculously, the 2 little girls, aged 3 and 6, who were hiding in the backseat, were unharmed. They were later rescued by a passing security officer. In just a few minutes, Hamas destroyed 3 families, but thanks to Amir, the 2 girls survived and have the chance to grow up. The media, the Free Palestine crowd in the world, who know nothing about Yisrael, love to portray Israel as an apartheid state, Jews against Muslims, but the truth is far more nuanced. The truth is that a hero like Amir, an Arab Israeli, a Muslim, gave his life to save 2 Jewish girls. These are real stories that happened. And then, of course, the Bibas family, the horrendous murder of the Bibas family, Kafir Bibas, who was the youngest hostage that was taken, was supposed to be 3 years old today. He and his brother, his whole family, the mother, the brother, and his parents. The mother's parents were murdered on October 7th. The whole Bibas family were held in captivity until the father was released on February 1st of 2023. His father was begging for his family to come home, begging the Biden administration, bring my family home, going to Biden, to Blinken, to Merrick Garland, anyone he could to bring his family home. And then unfortunately, we find out that the Bibas family was killed November of 2023. They were murdered. Hamas lied and said that they were killed by accident in November of 2023. But due to the autopsy, we found out that they were actually killed, not in February, but in November of 2023 by Hamas. The Hamas people mutilated a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old and his mother, mutilated them, tortured them. There were stories of pregnant women that were shot to death and their unborn child were cut out of their womb, taken out of their bodies and beheaded. An unborn child out of the womb. These are real life stories, guys. Hamas has no religion. Hamas doesn't give a damn about you. Hamas was told no mercy on the Jewish people's souls, no mercy on people's souls. And it wasn't just Jews that died that day. It was Christians as well. Now, fast forward 2 years later, we have 48 hostages that President Trump and Netanyahu are working on getting released. President Trump said to Hamas, you will release all of the hostages or else. The deadline has already passed. It is time for Hamas to release the hostages or face extreme consequences. In my opinion, they should have already been fully annihilated. Netanyahu, he's a strong fighter for his people. He puts his people first. I can tell you there's a lot of conflict going on between him and other people of the Israeli government. He is not to blame for this. He is not to blame for October 7th of 2023. He is not to blame for today. The reason he is working with President Trump on the side is because he's got people in his government that are working against him. There is an Israeli deep state that is so deep and so strong that are trying to put Netanyahu in jail, that are trying to get him removed as prime minister and so forth. Just like we have a deep state here in America, just like the government tried to put President Trump in jail. Remember, they indicted him on 34 counts of BS. Remember, President Trump was almost murdered twice, had to do with the Iranian government involved. Netanyahu had to tell him that. Netanyahu was almost murdered by the Iranian government as well. There's a lot of factors here, guys. Connect the dots. When you go against the people that love you the most, Hashem comes for you. Netanyahu would not have even facilitated this or pushed this. There's no way in hell that he was a part of murdering 1,200 of innocent people that come to his country. They come every single year. They're there now. We just celebrate Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. We are into our Sukkot, which is our Jewish Thanksgiving, going into Shemini Atzeret, which has to do with the changing of the seasons, going into Simchat Torah, which is where we go back to the beginning, Bereshit, in the beginning. We start with Genesis. This is what we call the Chagim. And people are in Israel right now. They're celebrating the holidays. This is a time where many people come from all over the country and the world to Israel. I have not been to Israel in a long time. I am very due, and I will be back very soon. But there is people that went to Israel after the aftermath of October 2nd and saw the graffiti. They saw the burnings of the people's houses, the kibbutzim, the people that lived in kibbutzes. That's a community thing in Israel. And then I find out today in the news that a rocket was fired from Hamas to an area that was already burned and tortured during October 7th 2 years ago. When will it ever end? Will it ever end? It has to end. Trump and Netanyahu are doing everything they can for peace. But we say never again means never again, and never again means now. And never forget what happened. But these things happened. So when you hear Free Palestine, that is now the new Allahu Akbar. That is hate speech. That is a call for rape, torture. We blame UNRWA for this, who did not recognize the rape of women. We know that UNRWA was a part of this with Islamists from the Qatari government. They were also a part of this. They worked with the Iranian terrorists. But we must never forget, and we must continue to memorialize the fallen. Innocent people did not have to die 2 years ago. Not at all. I ask my audience now to give a moment of silence for the people that were murdered on October 7th. Thank you. And I'd also like to sing the Israeli national anthem, Hatikva. Kod balev benima, nefesh Yehudi homiya, ulefate mizrach kadima, ayin letzion sofia. Olav datigotenu, hatikva shnot habayim, liyotam chafshi le'atzenu li'eretz Zion Yerushalayim, liyotam chafshi le'atzenu eretz Zion Yerushalayim. I didn't tell my producers, but I'd like to take a quick break. We'll be back with segment 1. We'll be talking about the government shutdown. This break, I want you all to reflect on what happened on October 7th, memorialize the fallen. If you are Jewish celebrating the Hagim in Israel, please be safe. If you are Jewish in America and you're celebrating holidays all over this country, we want you to be safe. Go to synagogue, wear your Jewish star with pride, wear your kippah, put your mezuzah on the doorpost of your door. Be proud and happy of being Jewish. And if you are a Christian who celebrates these holidays with us in Israel or across the country, thank you. Thank you for helping us. Thank you for working with us. Thank you for memorializing with us. Because again, Christians were murdered on this day as well. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
The Conservative Corner Podcast. Hoist the standard. Stand fast and sail with Captain Seth Eisenberg every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Yo, all hands, hoist the colors high. Heave ho, thieves and beggars, never shall we die. Now some have died and some are alive, and others sail on the sea with the keys to the cage and the devil to pay. We lay to fiddler's grave. All together, hoist the colors high. Heave ho, thieves and beggars, never shall we die.
Hello, everyone. Hello, this is Alexandra Levine live. Thank you for staying with us. Segment 1 starts Potus honoring the military. For those of you who didn't see, the Potus and the Flotus, they actually were with the Navy this past weekend, and we'll put up the first slide. So the U.S. Navy always stands for America. As Commander-in-Chief, I will always stand up to you, says President at Real Donald Trump. He said, quote, I want you to know that despite the current Democrat-induced shutdown, we will get our service members every last penny. And it was so great to see the Flotus and the Potus there. The Flotus actually started the hoorah chant with the Navy. For those of you who don't know, President Trump he keeps the military and the Navy in his heart. He loves our servicemen. Majority of the people voted for President Trump that are in the service in 2016, 2020, and 2024. And as you know, we are in a government shutdown now currently. Now, who started this government shutdown? It was someone named the Democrats. A lot of Democrats. In fact, all of the Democrats voted for the government shutdown. This is what we call Chuck Schumer's shutdown. It is not President Trump's to blame. We will not blame the Republicans for this. This is Schumer's shutdown. And he did this on purpose to try to hurt Donald Trump. Why is the government shut down? Because the Democrats want to give health care to illegals, which is illegal. I'm a health insurance agent. I would never in my life give health care to illegals. Why do illegals get more treatment or better treatment than American citizens? There's American citizens now that are having problems getting insured. And right now we're in something called open enrollment, which is the time where most people, they get insured. And it's also the most reasonable rates right now. Open enrollment is the best time for me because people call me all the time asking, hey, Alexandra, I need to get insured in health insurance, life insurance, etc., annuities. So it's really important, guys, that we understand that while the government's being shut down, people are still working, people are not getting paid, but they know that they still have a job to do. There's also Republican senators, Republican congressmen, and even some Democrat congressmen, and I don't give them any kudos for this, that are not taking their salary. They feel the government is shut down, they should not be getting paid. And as you know, President Trump, he always donates his salary every single month to a charity, etc. So it's really important, guys, to understand what is happening here in our country, why the Democrats are continuing to hurt our country and President Trump, and why in the heck is the Democrats pushing for illegals to have health care? I would ask you guys, my question to my audience, do you support this? Do you support illegals getting health care over American citizens? Do you support what the Democrats are doing? Then breaking news, we found out that the Biden administration with the old FBI, with Merrick Garland, they were tapping into the phones of 8 Republican senators, including Senator Marsha Blackburn, Senator Josh Hawley, Senator John Kennedy, and even a Republican congressman. Why is that necessary? Why was that necessary? What was Merrick Garland trying to find? What was Joe Biden trying to find by tapping in on these Republican senators and a Republican congressman's phones? Is that illegal? The FBI did that with Comey. And they brought up Attorney General Pam Bondi today to talk about it. And of course, she can't talk about it. They're investigating it. But it was FBI Director Kash Patel and Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino who brought it to the senators' attention because they both felt it was important that the senators knew that their phones were tapped under the Biden administration. So Senator Kennedy said, why don't we just subpoena Merrick Garland over here? Why don't we bring him in? Why don't we bring in James Comey and everybody who was involved? I mean, in my opinion, these people should be in jail already. Everyone says to me, what the hell's with the hesitation? Indict these people. Don't subpoena them. Just throw them straight to jail. They have the evidence that these people committed crimes. They committed crimes against humanity, and they committed crimes against we the people, against senators too, against a congressman. That's very strange. Now, congressmen and senators have to be worried about their phones being tapped. This is craziness, utter and total craziness. But I know Pam Bondi. I know she's not going to allow this to fly. And Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, they're going to look into it too. And I know that the senators don't want this just thrown under the bus. They want a full investigation. They want to bring a special counsel in, which I think they should. It's very important, guys. It's very important. Very important that we call out these evil people that tried to hurt President Trump, that tried to hurt innocent Americans. Speaking about healthcare, let's put up the second slide. Oh, sorry. The second slide was a very good picture. I totally forgot. Thank you to my producer. So this was an important picture because everyone always says, oh, President Trump, he's not kissy-kissy, lovey-dovey with his wife. Well, I beg to differ. This kiss shows how much love President Trump and the FLOTUS have for each other. Their marriage is so strong. Their love for each other is so strong. It shows how strong they are together, that they're a great couple, a power couple, and it shows the love. It shows everything that President Trump has gone through to get to this point. And he loves his wife, and he loves having her around. And we love her. She's a phenomenal woman. Great FLOTUS, does a lot for the country. She's one of the most beautiful first ladies we've ever had in our nation. So to see them kiss like this is such a beautiful moment, and everyone was so happy to see it, and we all want to see more of it. So let's go to the third slide. So this is important. So why is Fox News and Peter Doocy putting a Democrat Senator Mark Kelly to talk about totally unabated or challenged healthcare? The fake spin is so bad for Republicans that it is hard to believe that we win. It will be very unfair in the future when they don't have, quote, Trump to fight for them. Therefore, we should fix it now. I'm watching this interview. It just doesn't exist, or just doesn't end. I'm sorry. I'm trying to read it. Fox should either get on board or get off board. That's why I'm in the White House, because I'm the new conservative media at the White House now. But at this point, it just doesn't make any difference to me. They suck up to the ratings because of us, and they spin them in the Democrats' direction. They refuse to put up polls that currently show me at 65% popularity, a Republican record. But if I have a fake poll, that fake bad poll, many of which are done by Fox, one of the worst pollsters, and there's the Fox News poll, they put them up immediately and with gusto. Republicans are so tired of this fight with Fox, who is trying to be so, quote, politically correct. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And he's right. He's right. I mean, Fox News, mainstream media, they all put their own spin, their own bias. They go against President Trump. We see it all the time. It's disgusting. It's disgusting, and it's disgraceful. I feel so bad for President Trump. He's got to put up with this crap. That's why we are not the fake news media. We are not the mainstream media. We will report the real news in real time, and we'll give it to you straight. We'll give you our opinions as well. But there's a reason why I'm in the White House, because I am not biased against President Trump. I support him. I support his policies. I've loved him since 2015. Before then, they want fair reporting in the White House. They want people that will respect the president and not attack him and not put up people that go against him. If you notice, my guests are not anti-Trump. I won't have it. And if I do have an anti-Trump person, guess what? I combat him. But my guests are very fair. My guests talk about everything. Some of them don't want to go political, and that's fine. But you have to understand, when you put this Democrat senator up there who's spewing out crap and he's saying lies about healthcare, he's saying, oh, these people are going to get off Medicaid and all these people are going to get off Medicare and da-da-da-da. Remember when the Democrats pushed Medicare for all, which doesn't exist, which can never exist? Medicare for all? Are you crazy? They don't understand the healthcare system. Or remember, Kamala Harris wanted to take everybody off their private healthcare insurance. That would have screwed people like me who sell private healthcare to people. So that means that everybody gets Obamacare. Everybody gets subsidies. Everybody gets government-induced healthcare. You want that? You want the government to control what you get and how you get it and what doctor you go to and so forth? I don't think so. Everybody has different needs. Now, healthcare is the hardest thing. That's why it's so hard to repeal and replace things, because there's so many people that have problems. I talked to a congressman. He says, I can't cut Medicare, or so, excuse me, Medicaid. I can't cut Medicaid. I got 24,000 people in my district that are on Medicaid. I can't cut it. Medicaid and Social Security are the two biggest things that increase our national debt. So you have a lot of congressmen and senators that have a lot of constituents that are on Medicaid that need their Medicaid. But if you abuse the Medicaid, that's a problem. And there's a lot of people that do. And illegals come here and they abuse our system. There was illegals that came here that were allowed ivermectin when they got COVID. Remember how we Americans, we got COVID and we needed ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and the doctor said, oh, it's a hoax. It's a horse dewormer. You can't get it. But they would give it to illegals that were crossing the border. So again, it stems to what the Democrats are trying to do in regards to healthcare, how they want to ruin our system and make it good for illegals, but bad for American citizens. Why do American citizens continue to be getting screwed by the Democrats? That's why you should not be a Democrat. You should change #Jegs at the Democrat Party, vote Republican. Even voting for an independent is better than voting for a damn Democrat if you live in a liberal state. It's time to get these Democrats out of power. That's why a lot of moderate Democrats are leaving the Democrat Party. They've hashtag had enough. They're tired of it. They're tired of living and being involved in a party that doesn't represent we the people. It's disgusting. And we're tired of corrupt politicians. We're tired of corrupt people in power. Next slide. Letitia James, remember her? Corrupt Letitia James is costing New York State hundreds of billions of dollars in lost business. No company or individual wants to be there, knowing that she's the, quote, attorney general. She is a complete and total disaster who tried running against Kathy Hochul for governor and only got 1% of the vote in polls and quit. She then went back to her witch hunt against President Trump and others. Until this, quote, scum is removed from the attorney general's office, no company will move to New York, and few companies will be using the New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ for going public. The new Texas exchange will be taking all of this business away, and we're talking hundreds of billions of dollars. God bless President Trump for that. Yeah, I mean, this woman is corrupt. She should be in jail. And if the New Yorkers, I say this to New Yorkers, if you put in Mr. Zohran Mandami into office as the new mayor, you will have such problems. You know what Mr. Mandami said today about October 7th? He recognized that there was 1,200 innocent people that were murdered, but then he said that Israel committed genocide against thousands and thousands of Palestinians. That is the spin in the narrative. So Israel's supposed to allow 1,200 innocent people to be murdered on their soil, and they're not supposed to do anything. They're supposed to sit back and just allow it to happen and not do anything and allow the killing to happen. They're not allowed to defend themselves. God forbid they defend themselves. But what the stupid Democrats don't tell you, the socialist Democrats don't tell you, is that the Israelis went in there and killed the Hamas militants. They killed the heads of Hamas. They killed the heads of Hezbollah. They killed the leaders that were in charge of the murdering. Hamas puts their own people in danger. Hamas refused to give aid to their people. Israelis were giving aid to Gaza to make sure that the Gazans were fed. But Hamas would take that aid. And everybody knows that. President Trump had to intervene, made sure that when the Israelis gave aid to the Gazans, the Hamas didn't come in and try to take it. That is the real truth. That is the real truth. That's the real narrative. Not this false narrative that the Israeli people committed genocide against the Palestinians. That is BS. The Israelis didn't rape innocent women and children. They didn't behead innocent babies. They didn't burn babies and put them in ovens. They didn't cut a pregnant woman, unborn child out of a room and behead the unborn child in front for the people to see. And they don't do videos of killing innocent lives like Hamas did. You cannot compare the IDF to Hamas. You cannot compare the IDF to what goes on or what went on in Gaza, to what goes on in Lebanon with Hezbollah and Al-Aqsa Martyr Brigade and the Taliban and Islamic Jihad and the Houthis in Yemen. Don't even compare. The Israelis don't want to fight. They're tired of it. They want to have a holiday in peace. All they ask for is peace. That is the Jewish way. That is what Israel wants. That's why Israel is the second country besides America that has all three religions celebrating at once. We have Christmas, we have Ramadan, we have Hanukkah, all celebrating together as one. I know, I lived it. I lived in Israel. I have Arab Israeli friends. I have Christian friends from Israel. I talk to them all the time. We don't understand how people attack the IDF and attack Israel all the time. And it's the damn Democrats that support Hamas. It's the damn Democrats that support these illegals that kill innocent people. It's the damn Democrats that allowed illegal Syrian and illegal Afghan and illegal Lebanese refugees into our country. That is the truth. There's illegal terrorists where I live in Montgomery County, Maryland here. Rockville used to be so safe. Rockville, Maryland is the single most worst city in Montgomery County for terror. They have HOCO Free Palestine in Howard County, Maryland, Columbia, Maryland. HOCO Free Palestine. That means Howard County Free Palestine Group. They had, as you know, massive amounts of pro-Hamas rallies at college campuses for 2 years before Trump got in there. For 2 years, the Biden administration allowed this. When you give healthcare to illegals, when you keep giving them stuff for free, you think they'll just say thank you? No, they do havoc. They take over your country and they do havoc. They take over your county, they do havoc. Open up your eyes, guys. Israel is not the enemy here. And I'm sick and tired of seeing the anti-Semitism coming out. This guy that works at Turning Point, I don't even know if he had permission to do this. He took screenshots, just screenshots, not even a full conversation of something Charlie Kirk said about Israel. It wasn't even in like the correct context. And he said, these text messages are true. Yep, Charlie Kirk was pulling away against Israel and how he felt about Israel. He's criticizing the Israeli government, criticizing Netanyahu, pulling back. And yep, these are all true. Candace was on to something. Trying to come up with BS that Israel had something to do with the death of Charlie Kirk, that the Mossad had something to do with Charlie Kirk's death. It's people like that are causing genocide. It's people like that cause anti-Semitic attacks against me, against Seth Eisenberg, against Tim Fazenmaker, against Scott Willens, against other Jews that are on my program that live in this country. I'm tired of it. I am so tired of it. Stop blaming the Jews for everything. That's what this anniversary is about on October 7th. Stop blaming the Jews. Stop blaming Netanyahu. Stop blaming the Jews. It's enough already. It is enough. And you know what? People have had enough. Not just the Jewish people in this country. The Christian people have had enough too. Stop blaming the wrong people. Something goes wrong in the world, you blame the Jews? It's enough. I've never blamed a Christian for anything. I didn't blame a Christian for October 7th. I never blamed a Christian for the Holocaust. But these alt-right people, these left-wing Democrat socialists, they blame the Jews for all of this crap. Can't we have a good holiday? Can't we live in peace? Go to Israel. Talk to the Israeli people. Talk to the IDF. Get some perspective. I'm so sick of the people on X that spew out anti-Semitic rhetoric all the time and on YouTube. Enough is enough. If you really feel that free Palestine is the way to go, then go and hang out with these people. Go to Gaza, go to where Hezbollah is in Lebanon, go to the Taliban in Afghanistan, go to Al-Aqsa Smart Brigade, go hang out with the Houthis in Yemen and see if they will welcome you with arms of love. Go hang out with them, Greta Thunberg. You're a moron. And Greta Thunberg lied and said that the Israelis were torturing her and they were holding her captive. They saved her effing life not once but twice. She wants to go with her freaking flotilla and get raped and God knows what and die. She should be thanking the Israelis for helping her. Not saying they're horrible people. Spinning the narrative, the false narrative. God forbid she gives the Israelis credit for saving her life. So anytime you see any rhetoric against Jews, ask them why. Why are you doing this? Why is this happening? Why do you feel that this is a great thing? And this stems into the theme of today, remembering October 7th. We must always remember. Yeah, my friend Radio Telefonio, he said, I'm fed up too, even if it puts me in conflict with my family. Yeah. Family should not be in conflict. You shouldn't divorce your spouse over this. This is crazy. It's crazy. But haven't you hashtag had enough, guys? Haven't you hashtag had enough? Open up your eyes. Get some perspective. Stop listening to BS. Stop putting out text messages, private text messages that Charlie Kirk wrote. I thought Erica Kirk was the CEO of Turning Point. Did you ask Erica before you put them out there? Why don't you ask her if it's okay? Let me tell you something. Charlie Kirk had written to Netanyahu months ago asking him, hey, the Prime Minister of Israel, I love you, I love Israel, but I go on college campuses and people ask me about the conflict that's going on between Israel and Hamas. How do I answer them? Give me a timeline here. Give me something. Give me a monologue, something that I can retort to these kids when they ask about Israel and Hamas. He didn't say, Netanyahu, you're doing a shitty job as a prime minister. You're a piece of shit. I don't want to be with you. I don't care about Israel anymore. Leave me alone. I never want to go to Israel. Israel's disgusting. Never said that. He wanted to help better the message because these idiots on college campuses say bullshit. That's the truth. And what did Netanyahu do? 3 weeks before Charlie Kirk was murdered, he invited him to Israel. Invited him. And then on the day of Charlie Kirk's death, Netanyahu wrote a beautiful tweet and probably a letter to the family stating like he was devastated for this. Devastated that this happened to Charlie Kirk, that he was a good friend to Israel and the Jewish people, that he invited him to come to Israel. So how can you say that Charlie Kirk hated Israel, pulling back on the Israeli government, all this bullshit? I'm so sick of the goddamn bullshit. And I'm sorry that I'm getting heated, but this is an important time in our lives to know the truth. I will report the truth. I will spew out the truth. I'm so sick and tired of people shitting on good, innocent Israelis and good, innocent Jewish people. Now, you know me. I will call out the leftist Democrat Jews that give us a bad name, like Jamie Raskin and Bernie Sanders and Richard Blumenfeld and Bob Sherman and Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Those are the enemy of the people. But people like myself, people like Scott Willens, Tim Fazenbaker, Seth Eisenberg, and Jews all over this country and this world, I will praise them. And you should too. Because there are good Jews out there, good Samaritans, good Jewish people that are with their faith, that their faith defines them, that their faith makes them who they are. That's why I watched that 47-minute video of October 7th. That's why I went to the Holocaust Museum in DC at the age of 7, to see the horrors, to feel the horrors, to know the horrors, to know the truth. I encourage everybody to go to any Holocaust museum near them, to watch Schindler's List, to know the truth. If you can obtain snippets of the 47-minute video of what Hamas did to our people, watch it. Watch it with your children. I don't care how old they are. Watch it. Let them see it. Let them see it and feel it the way I did. At 7 years old, I went to the most graphic areas of the Holocaust Museum in DC, the most heinous graphic areas of the museum. Yeah, I had nightmares, but you know what? It's what has to be done to see the truth. If you hide from the truth, if you don't show your children, if you don't talk about it, then there is no more history. Tell the history as it is. Show the history as it is. Enough is enough. And I will continue to fight. I will continue to fight for my people. I will continue to fight for the Christian community that supports my people. I will continue to fight for justice and for the rule of law. Coming back after the break, we're going to be talking about Antifa and how Antifa has hurt our nation and how we must combat it on every single turn. As I said, we are remembering October 7th. Please keep the people, the victims in our hearts. Please pray for the 48 hostages to come back, whether they come back alive or dead. We need them back. Please, guys, remembering October 7th, coming back right after the break. Oh, and I always forget this. Folium PX. Man, I was such in a good, I should have just left it. Folium PX, toxic heavy metals, full body detox. Go to foliumpx.com. But again, we gotta go after the break because I left with such a beautiful ending. We're coming back after the break. Goodbye.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Levine. I'm a professional opera singer, actress, TV, and radio personality. Since 2015, I've been a volunteer, a field director, and a campaign manager, learning the ins and outs of the political world. That's why I became a political consultant. My job is to lead you to victory with organization, structure, and the mindset of winning for your district or state. With my guidance and direction, I can keep you focused on the things that matter to the people and advise you on key issues that need to be addressed. If you're a serious candidate that is serious about winning, then book a consultation with me today. Go to levineconsulting.co. You'll be happy you did.
Hey guys, welcome back to segment 2. I know I was a little bit on a high. So before we left, don't forget Folium PX is our sponsor, one of our affiliate sponsors. Go to foliumpx.com. The supplements are very good for your body. It's great for the digestive system. It's great for your brain health. So please, guys, go to foliumpx.com and click it today and get all the supplements. Yeah, it's true. It's the intensity. I know. I'm passionate about my people. I'm passionate about this. You have to be passionate. If you don't have passion about this, there's something mentally off with you. You must have passion. Now, there's a difference between passion and getting hysterical and emotional. I am not hysterical and I'm not emotional. I'm passionate. There's a difference. That is what makes a true leader. That is what makes a true leader, being passionate. President Trump talks about that. President Trump is a passionate man. He's not emotional. He's not hysterical, but he is passionate. So am I. Passionate people make it in this world. Don't forget that. That's a life lesson. So segment 2 talks about Antifa. Let's go to the first slide. So Nick Sorter is a guy that used to work for Tucker Carlson, and he's an investigative reporter. He travels all over the country, and he was involved reporting in what's going on in Portland. If you don't know what's going on in Portland, it's horrendous. There is left-wing Antifa all over Portland. And guess what? The Portland police is supporting Antifa over there. They're like working with them. President Trump has asked the governor, I want to bring in the National Guard. Portland is a crap hole. And when the mayor and the governor said, no, we don't need it. So this is what Nick Sorter said. Portland is an effing third world hellhole. If I defend myself, quote, I will be the one who gets arrested, not the assailant. Antifa is in full control of their President Trump needs to step in. And what happened? Nick Sorter went to defend himself, and he was arrested. He was arrested and charged. They were going to charge him with all of these counts. He wasn't charged. They arrested him, and they were about to charge him with a very strong sentence. Even though he was attacked first, this woman came up to him, approached him, and he put mace on the woman as self-defense. And then the woman started beating on him. Other people started beating on him. Thank God there was video footage. But he gets arrested. Then after he shows the video footage to the police, and this man is lawyered up. Let me tell you, Nick Sorter has some of the best lawyers in the industry with Harvey Dillon and so forth. After his lawyers were like, Nick Porter was doing nothing wrong. This was self-defense. They dropped the charges against Nick Sorter, but Nick Sorter is still going to go to his hearing because he wants to see what's going on. He's, quote, arraigned on a certain date this year. But again, you go to Portland, all you do is film somebody. They'll rip the camera out of you. They'll punch you. They'll assault you. But guess what? The assailant doesn't get in trouble. You get in trouble. The person that's defending themselves, the person that's reporting fairly and honestly and just staying there with the camera gets jailed. Go figure. And everyone knows who Nick Sorter is. They know he's a conservative commentator. They know he worked for the Daily Caller. They know he worked for Tucker Carlson. So he's very renowned. He's got millions and millions and millions of viewers on X and Facebook and so forth. And it's just disgusting. It's disgusting what happened to him. I'm glad that he's not in jail. I'm glad that there was true justice. I'm glad that he had great attorneys that helped him. But the fact that it had come to that is disgusting. Disgusting. And now we go to the second slide. So the second slide, Donald Trump said to ICE, Border Patrol, law enforcement, and all U.S. military, as per my August 25th, 2025 executive order, please be advised that from this point forward, anybody burning the American flag will be subject to 1 year in prison. You will be immediately arrested. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I love it. And also, President Trump reinstated his executive order that anybody that desecrates a federal statue or a federal building will go to federal prison for 10 years. Thank you for that. Thank you, President Trump. I mean, this is disgusting. You burn the American flag and nothing happens to you. And look what's happening in Chicago right now with Antifa, California. Antifa's on the rise right now. The fact that these governors in Illinois and in Oregon, they don't think they need the National Guard. They think they have it under control. They think that President Trump is trying to stop them from actually governing. You're not doing your job, dudes. Why is Antifa controlling your cities and your state? What the hell? Why did you allow this? Why are you allowing innocent people in your city and your state to get murdered? President Trump has to go in there. Same thing with the state of Maryland. Baltimore is a crap hole. So is Baltimore City. There's shootings there all the time. A young kid just got shot at Towson Town Center. You can't even go to Towson Town Center. There's shootings happening in Baltimore County all the time. Baltimore County is now becoming Baltimore City. I want President Trump to bring in the National Guard to Baltimore. I have called for him to bring in the National Guard. The only reason President Trump talked about Baltimore County and bringing the National Guard and having Baltimore County as a sanctuary state because of me and my reporting to Caroline Leavitt and others in the White House press pool. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. But they're going to continue. These Democrats in leadership are going to continue to try to overstep and try to be above the law. Remember the Democrats said no one is above the law. President Trump needs to go in and intervene because these governors, these Democrat governors, are not doing the job. They should be embarrassed. And we, the people, should not have them reelected. That's why it is so important who the governors are. That's why the gubernatorial race in Virginia is very important, and the gubernatorial race in New Jersey is very important. It's very important that we have Republicans in power. Very important. And speaking of what's going on in Virginia, let's go to the next slide. Yep, Donald Trump. He commented on the Virginia race. It just came out that the radical left lunatic Jay Jones, who was running against Jason Miyares, the great attorney general, the incumbent, by the way, in Virginia, made sick and demented jokes, if they were jokes at all, which were not funny, and that he wrote down and sent around to the people concerning the murdering of a Republican legislator, his wife, and their children. Abigail Spanberger, who is running for governor, is weak and ineffective and refuses to acknowledge what this lunatic has done. Even Democrats are saying it is, quote, resignation from campaign, unquote, territory. Democrat Jay Jones should drop out of the race immediately. And the people of Virginia must continue to have a great attorney general in Jason Miyares, who, by the way, is my complete and total endorsement. Jason will never let you down. And I agree with him. Jason Miyares is a great attorney general. He's done so much for Israel. He's done so much for the Jewish people of Virginia. I've worked with him to combat anti-Semitism in Virginia, also to implement full Holocaust education and to expand on full Holocaust education in the state of Virginia, and also recognize what the definition of anti-Semitism is according to the IHRA, which he signed the resolution with Governor Youngkin. Jay Jones should resign. This is disgusting. And it's funny, President Trump is so slick. He didn't personally endorse Winsome Sears, but Winsome Sears should be kissing President Trump's butt because he wrote how Abigail Spanberger is weak and ineffective. That tweet alone should get Winsome Sears elected. Now, I'll be honest, the gubernatorial race is very close. People are saying that Miss Winsome Sears has not run a great campaign. The Lieutenant Governor, John Reed, who is supported by President Trump, is doing a lot better. Jason Miyares is going to definitely win re-election based on this tweet. Or this truth, excuse me. But again, we have to really keep in mind who's running, who we want in power, and who's going to be most effective. And as you know, President Trump, he just recently endorsed Jack Ciaffarelli as the new governor of New Jersey. We need to make New Jersey great, red again and great again. And Jack is the man for the job. And Jack is actually doing really well in the polls that Democrats are now endorsing Jack. Jack has been going to very hard Democrat areas with huge crowds of which the likes no one's ever seen. Remember, President Trump did a rally in New Jersey. There was over 100,000 people there at a rally in New Jersey, of all places. So New Jersey can flip. New Jersey doesn't want Democrat control anymore. But again, it's up to the people of New Jersey. They said that the mail-in ballots are coming in for Republicans this time at a very fast pace. That's what you want. You want the mail-in ballots in Democrat-run areas to go in full return for Republicans. Now, I hate mail-in ballots. I hope President Trump gets rid of them before the midterm elections coming up, because mail-in ballots really screw good Republicans, especially in Democrat areas and Democrat districts. But we need to make Virginia red again, or keep Virginia red, I should say, and make New Jersey red again. Because the people of New Jersey, I can tell you, they've hashtag had enough. Hashtag had enough. And look at this idiot, the next slide, with David Harris Jr. So David Harris Jr., he wrote about, remember this idiot, former Democrat Representative Jamal Bowman, he was part of the squad, claims the reason why heart disease and cancer and obesity and diabetes are bigger in the Black community is because of the stress we carry from having to deal with being called the N-word directly or indirectly every day. Thoughts? Question to my Black viewers, Black community, are you called the N-word on a daily basis, directly or indirectly? Or do you have heart disease, cancer, and obesity and diabetes because of that? This is crazy. Again, the Democrats always focus on race. I mean, this is insane. I mean, are Jewish people getting heart disease, obesity because they're called the K word? I mean, I don't even say that. I mean, I don't bring anything up about race, about ethnicity. But why do the Democrats continue to push race into everything? Everything. The idiots in Maryland, they're all DEI hires. Governor Wes Moore, Brandon Scott. They call themselves DEI leaders. Talk about their race. They screw the people because they feel that the white man screwed them. That's how Jamal Bowman feels, that the white man screwed him. That the white Jewish people got him out of office. You know, APAC is run by a bunch of white Jewish people, by the way. Just so you know, there was an article written out years ago that Jews are actually not white, we're Black. We have a lot of Jews that are from Iran, Iraq, Tunisia, Albania. Very areas with significant dark-skinned Jews. Not all Jews are white, by the way. Yeah, I'm tired of the pronouns too. But Pam Bondi said today in front of the Senate, she says, we're tired of the double standards. We're tired of this playing politics crap. We're tired of the two-tiered system here, two-tier political system. She actually went after Don A. Dick, Richard Blumenthal, because he questioned her credibility as an attorney in Florida. And she said, how dare you? She says, you lied about your service. You said that you served in Vietnam when you didn't. You blatantly lied. And you're questioning my integrity, my credibility as an attorney in Florida. She says, how dare you? Good for her. Good for her. And again, bringing up the races. We'll bring up the last slide. Slide 5 about Jack Ciattarelli. Yep, Trump-backed New Jersey Governor candidate Jack Ciattarelli just gained the endorsement of Democrat former West New York Mayor Sal Vega, per New Jersey Globe. Multiple Democrats are now lining up behind Jack. This is a sign of momentum. New Jersey Republicans should storm the polls. And I agree. We're in early voting right now, guys. Early voting in Virginia and in New Jersey with the mail-in ballots. It's got to be too big to rig. Republicans should be going now, and they should be early voting. They should be going now to the polls and early voting. That's how President Trump won, because all these Republicans went into early voting. And Republicans, they addressed their mail-in ballots and mailed them very quickly. And there was a lot of returns on the mail-in ballots immediately. Like I said, I hate mail-in ballots. Not a big fan of early voting, but that's the system that we have right now because of the Democrats. So you got to play the Democrats' game. You just have to do it better. You have to do it 20 times better, 20 times bigger. Remember, it's got to be too big to rig. Too big to rig. I say that to my friends in Maryland that are running. It's got to be too big to rig. Got to get people out there. Got to get people knowing who you are. Got to get your name out there. Vote for Constance and Nilsa Gonzalez in LD number 5. Vote for Jack Ciattarelli as governor. Get New Jersey back to being red again. Vote for Winsome Sears in Virginia. Vote for John Reed, lieutenant governor. Vote for Jason Maharas. We got to keep Virginia red. Because if you give the power back to the Democrats, or keep giving power to Democrats, and you give power to a socialist Democrat like Zohran Mamdani, we won't have a country. Because once you get these morons in local power, local races, they just continue going up and up and up and up and up and up. Johnny Oshevsky, I talk about him all the time. Clear example. He's a congressman right now in CD2 in Maryland. He started out as a delegate. Then he became the county executive of Baltimore County, ruined Baltimore County. Now he's a congressman. Mamdani wants to start at the local level. God forbid he becomes president of the United States one day. AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, the more these women are in power, they may become president of the United States one day. Remember, Congress has no term limits. They could be there forever. And the more they're in there, the worse our lives will be. Because we could get so much more done, so much more accomplished if we had proper people in office. You all know this. Stop the grandstanding, stop the BS. Stop trying to pick up people if they have millions of dollars. What I'm finding in Maryland is they only back candidates that self-fund. There's one guy running for Baltimore County executive. He's putting in $1.6 million of his own money. What an idiot. The dumbest thing I've ever heard for a county executive race. $1.6 million. Oh, because his opponents have $1.6 million. Well, his opponents have been there for years. They accumulate the $1.6 million. But when you put $1.6 million of your own money that you can't get back again for a race, they may not even win. You're a dumb moron. You're an idiot. And you want to run the county? You want to run Baltimore County? I know people that ran for state senate in Florida in a very Republican district. One guy took $5 million of his own money. Guess what? Never saw it again. Attorney general race in Florida. This guy, Frank, against the previous attorney general, Ashton Moody, who's now my senator. He put $5 million into that race and he lost. $5 million of his own money. Actually, I think it was his wife's money, and lost. For an attorney general race. That's crazy. You don't need to put millions and millions of dollars into state and local races. That's crazy. Gubernatorial race is different because it's the whole state. But if it's a local position, if it's a district position, you don't need millions and millions and millions of dollars. So before we go to our third segment, don't forget we do have another affiliate sponsor, rncstore.com/ALL. We'll put that up. There we go. Richardson Nutritional Center. Mr. Richardson will be back on my show sometime this month. We will let you know when that comes. He comes on the third Thursday of every month. So whenever the third Thursday is, he'll be on. And we want to hear all the wonderful things that he's going to be doing. So go to rncstore.com/ALL. You have to put in ALL to get the 10% off discount. If you don't put in ALL, guess what? You don't get the discount. And of course, the more you spend, the more money you get off. But this is a great supplemental center as well. They do a lot of things in regards to healing and helping your immunity and your immune system. So please, guys, go to rncstore.com/ALL. Type in ALL as your discount code. You'll get 10% off. And we will be right back after the break. Please, guys, stick with us. We are remembering October 7th. It's the 2-year anniversary. We will be right back after the break.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here in the heart of D.C. as President Trump is celebrating 250 years of America and the military.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to Alexandra Levine Live with the America's Pulse Network. Don't forget to like and subscribe us. And I just want to say thank you to all of our viewers today. I know that there's a lot of people that are watching that are not commenting, which is fine. I know there's a lot of people that are watching now and they're going to actually be watching the repeated show. I love that. I love when my viewers watch live and they go back and they constantly repeat and retweet and retruth. Thank you guys so much. And we appreciate, again, America's Pulse Network. We are on X. We're on YouTube. We're on True Social, Parler, Instagram. We're on about 5 to 6 different platforms now. And we continue to grow every single day. We're on pretty much we're on 5 days a week. And actually, we do repeated shows on Saturdays. Actually, no, we're on pretty much 7 days a week because we do repeated shows on Saturdays. And we just, constantly are repeating and retweeting our shows. We have live shows Sunday through Friday. Every single week. So thank you guys for being a part of our network, and thank you for helping us with the expansion and for the viewership. So this is a very bizarre story that came out. So at first, former NFL player Mark Sanchez, he played for the New York Jets. I read this bizarre thing that, he was stabbed and he's in the hospital. And of course, I jumped on it and a lot of other people jumped on it. We're like, oh my God, this happened in Indianapolis. It's in the middle of the night, 12:30 after midnight in the morning. And I thought he was just, killed by an Antifa, or not killed, or stabbed by an Antifa guy or hurt by an Antifa guy. I prayed he didn't die. And, this is what the first slide showed. So it's that way you can't really read it, but I can read it. Mark Sanchez in critical condition. Mark Sanchez was injured in Indianapolis. So that was the first, this was from TMZ. So TMZ put that out there. So they automatically jumped and said, oh my God, Mark Sanchez, he's been stabbed. He's in critical condition. We pray for him. He was just, they didn't know anything about the person that stabbed him. It was just automatic. He's stabbed. This is not good. He's a conservative guy. He's a sports commentator, former NFL player. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I'll be honest, a lot of people believed it. Let's put up the second slide. So the second slide, and this was a follow-up. Mark Sanchez was injured in Indianapolis on Saturday and is currently recovering in the hospital in stable condition. We are deeply grateful to the medical team for their exceptional care and support. Our thoughts and prayers are with Mark, and we ask that everyone please respect his and his family's privacy during this time. Fox Sports. So I was in on this. Not in on it. That's the wrong words. I was believing this. Oh my God, he was gonna die. This is awful. Oh my God, he's the victim here. Victim. Well, there's always two sides to this story. It turns out he wasn't the victim. He was actually the aggressor. It turns out that the hotel he was staying at, back up. It was the alley at the hotel he was staying at. He was intoxicated. It's 12:30 at night in Indianapolis. He's getting ready to, announce. My brain is tired. He's beginning to announce the game on Monday. That later in the day, Monday Night Football. That's his job. He's a Fox Sports analyst. 12:30 at night, drunk, going down the alley, just walking down the alley, stumbling down the alley. He sees a delivery driver Delivery driver is delivering food to the hotel. He starts screaming at the delivery driver. The delivery driver is 69 years old. Starts screaming at him, telling him, get out of here. Why are you in this parking space? You're in the way. And the delivery driver's like, what the hell? Like, he's just doing his job. He didn't even know who Mark Sanchez was. He thought he was an employee of the hotel. He had no idea. Mark Sanchez got so mad, he actually entered the guy's vehicle unannounced, which you can't do. And the delivery driver was like so flabbergasted with this. He went inside to the hotel and talked to the manager and was like, this guy's like screaming at me and telling me to get out of here. Am I okay? Am I in the correct zone? Like, who is this guy? Manager's like, oh, like, he doesn't work here. And it took a while to figure out who he was. And delivery driver comes back and says, like, I'm allowed to be here. I'm just doing my job. Mark Sanchez kept berating him, punched the guy, beat up the guy. The delivery guy had a knife in his hand, just in case, God forbid, somebody hurts him. And the delivery guy had mace sprayed in his face and his eyes. Mark Sanchez had mace. Mark Sanchez sprayed the mace in the guy's eye. Guy was freaking out, took out his knife, and stabbed Mark Sanchez in the heart. Or not in the heart, I'm sorry, in the chest, close to the heart. And the delivery guy was like found on the ground, and his family actually released pictures of the delivery guy in the hospital. He's all cut up and bruised. Bones are broken. So it turns out that the delivery guy was not the aggressor. He was the victim. And when police got video footage of what really happened, they welcomed Mr. Mark Sanchez. Or they said, hi, Mr. Sanchez, when Mark was in the hospital trying to recover from his chest wound. And they said, you have the right to remain silent. They arrested him for battery, for public intoxication, and for entering a vehicle unannounced. Let's put up the last slide. So this is the real story. Indianapolis police now say they have arrested Fox analyst Mark Sanchez while he was at the hospital for battery with injury, unlawful entry of a motor vehicle, and public intoxication. I'm going to try to read this. After further investigation following a consultation with the Marion County Prosecutor's Office, IMPD arrested 38-year-old Mark Sanchez for his alleged role in this incident. Sanchez was arrested at the hospital for battery with injury, unlawful entry of a motor vehicle, and public intoxication, all which are misdemeanors. All involved parties have been identified, and no further individuals are being sought by detectives. Sanchez is still in the hospital and has not been booked into the Adult Detection Center. The Marion County Prosecutor's Office will make the final charging decision. An arrest is merely an accusation, and Sanchez should be considered innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law. IMDP does not release probable cause affidavits or must be obtained from the Marion County Prosecutor's Office or Marion County Clerk's Office. Well, guess what? Judge said the next day, I don't care who this guy is. I don't care that he's a Fox News analyst, former NFL player. I don't care who the hell you are. You don't come into Indianapolis and hurt our citizens and hurt our people. And they actually pushed the case up to a felony. So if Mark Sanchez is found guilty, he will probably serve some sentencing in jail. Now, this whole story to me is extremely bizarre. It's an extremely bizarre story. And I mean, I hope there'll be justice, but I'll be honest, I take back supporting Mark Sanchez in this, because after I saw the videos and I saw I was reading like the other people's statements, I noticed that Mark was not the victim here. I don't think Mark has a job anymore. If I was Fox Sports, I would not rehire the guy. He's kind of in a little bit of drama right now. Oops. But again, you are innocent until proven guilty. And we're just now getting little snippets of the video. There's actually a video showing Mark Sanchez holding his chest after he gets stabbed, and some people helping him. Again, nobody really knew who he was until after he was stabbed, until after he went to the hospital. But my question to my viewers, what do you think about this? What do you think about the attitude of Mark Sanchez? What do you think about the driver? I mean, when I found out the guy was 69 years old, I was like, He's not beating up on a 38-year-old former football player. You're 30 years old. You're a former football player. You work out every day. You're strong enough to beat the crap out of the 69-year-old man. But that's why I always say it's good to carry, just in case, God forbid, you're alone and some crazy tries to kill you. I mean, Mark Sanchez literally could have killed that guy. If he wanted to, he could have. And that goes to show you, don't get drunk before a game. Don't get drunk before you have to go to work. Don't be a sloppy drunk. And also it shows that you shouldn't be going to these places without your wife and kids. That's what happens when married men go away from their wives, separate vacations, separate work things, and they get themselves in trouble. My father never took a separate vacation without my mother. My father was a traveling financial analyst. He went all over the country. He always brought my mom with him to Arizona, or if my dad would go out of town without my mom, he would always stay at a friend's house, at a married couple's house, or he would stay with his mother or his mother-in-law. But this is what happens when married men go away from their spouses and their children and they do stupid things. As a result, this guy not only ruined his reputation, he ruined his career. And he'll probably go to jail as a result of all this. Because that judge said, I don't care if he's a celebrity or not, whatever, NFL player, whatever, we're treating him like he's just a regular human being. That guy puts his pants on the same way I do. Yeah, I agree. People must behave, not act like idiots. I mean, the guy's a Fox News analyst. When you go out there, you are representing Fox. When I go out, I'm representing myself and the America's Pulse Network. It's a form of decorum, guys. Have some decorum. The guy isn't a baby. He's a 38-year-old man. He should know better. He's a dumbass, as far as I'm concerned. Dumbass. Other dumbass things with celebrities, the divorce of Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban, who gives a crap. It's a celebrity. They always get divorced. I'm surprised she lasted this long with him. Reports came out that he possibly cheated on her and that he's with his new young thing that he's holding on to. Yeah, it's celebrities. That happens. Laura Loughlin and her husband are getting divorced after 28 years. Remember, Laura Loughlin lied and made her daughter lie to get into a great college. That was a whole scandal. It was a little too much publicity for that family. Yeah, I figured that marriage wasn't going to last. Celebrity marriages, majority of them do not last, especially ones that are put out in the public. And everybody knew about Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban. Same thing with Jen Affleck and Ben Affleck. When you put your relationship out in the public, you're subject to divorce. It's just the nature of the biz. But when you keep your relationship quiet, when you don't put it out there, we're not constantly showing off pictures of your children, whatever, guess what? Your marriage survives. That's why Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr., their marriage is very good. There's a lot of other celebrity marriages that have done very well because they keep it private. They don't push it out to the public so much. But celebrity marriages are crazy. Celebrities in general, a lot of them are crazy. And when you go out there, you represent yourself and you're representing your craft and you're representing whoever you're working for. So I have no sympathy for Mr. Sanchez now. I take back having any sympathy for him. I'm glad he's not dead. I am glad he's not dead. That would have been horrible if he died. But he was a stupid person who did a stupid thing, and he's going to pay dearly for it, believe me. So as you know, we are in campaign mode right now. As you know, I am a political consultant. I own my own political consulting firm, livingconsulting.co, and I'm working with some great candidates in this cycle and also next year. So one of my favorite people to work with, actually, this is the 6th year anniversary that I've been working with Mr. Fazenbaker. It has been a privilege and an honor to work with him. And when he wins the county council, which he will win, I will be working beside him again as his chief of staff. And it will be an amazing 4 years of working with him and beyond. Whatever he wants to do, whether he wants to continue after the 4 years or if he wants to run for Congress again, whatever he wants to do, I will stand shoulder to shoulder with him. So please, guys, go to timfazenbaker.com, donate to him. He is getting hundreds and hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars. People are pouring in the money to him. They want him to win. His opponent, who I don't think is going to win, who I don't even think is going to run. We know he's not going to win. But he's a freaking rhino Democrat. He hates Donald Trump. Tim and I have been exposing him for months now. The guy is pretty much finished. Even if he tried to run against Tim, he's not. Everybody who I've talked to says Tim's going to win. This is his to win. And he's in a great position. The district is his district. It's a very MAGA, America First district. it's Sparrows Point, it's Dundalk, it's Edgemere. And Tim has been traveling to all the different churches around his area, going to all the events, helping his constituents, helping families that are suffering due to loss of life, loss of their children's lives, the fentanyl crisis, whatever. You call Mr. Fazenmaker, he is there. So please go to timfazenmaker.com. You can follow Tim on X at America1TimFaze, and also follow him on Facebook at Tim Fazenmaker. And also don't forget, we are in early voting right now in New Jersey, as well as mail-in ballots. The actual general election is November 4th, but please don't wait. Please vote for Constance Ditzel and Nilsa Gonzalez. They're running for Assembly LD number 5. And they are riding with Jack Ciattarelli here, and they want him to win, and they support him. Jack supports them too. They all support each other. They all go to events together. Again, let's make New Jersey red again. Let's keep it red this time. We want Constance and Gonzalez in there. Please go to her Facebook, Ditzel and Gonzalez for State Assembly, Ditzel and Gonzalez on Instagram, and at Connie for New Jersey on X. Damon Straw just worked on a wonderful digital campaign ad for them, and it's phenomenal, and it's on their Facebook right now. So please go check it out. I actually put it up on their X as well. Please, guys, go check it out, and please donate to Constance and Nilsa, because we need to put the right people in office. And of course, don't forget our friend Seth Eisenberg from the Conservative Corner. We do a GoFundMe for him. He had to go back in the hospital for his poor foot. He almost lost his foot. And he was in the hospital for 34 days. And he lost a lot of work due to it. He has a 15-year-old son who he supports, and we need to give to him. So we've already raised over $6,500 for him. The goal is $10K. The final goal is $100K. But please, guys, help by donating to Jonah Eisenberg to overcome a financial health crisis. Go to GoFundMe. /Jonah/Eisenberg/health/crisis. And of course, guys, don't forget that we have the Pulse. Tomorrow night, I am hosting from 8 to 9 p.m. We have a very special guest. I'm not going to give it away, but you guys have to watch the Pulse to see what I'm going to be wearing. But please, guys, don't forget the Pulse is a phenomenal show. It's a 5-person panel of all different perspectives, opinions, ideas. We do talk about breaking news, current events, and so forth. So don't forget that's tomorrow night from 8 to 9 p.m. And don't forget, we have the Conservative Corner every Sunday night from 7 to 8:30 p.m. And you can follow Seth Eisenberg on the Conservative Corner on Facebook at Conservative Seth on X. And we love his show. We call him Popeye the Sailor Man. You never know what he's going to say, but he speaks his mind, and we love that. And don't forget, we also have the Jersey Shore with our good friend Damon Galdo every Monday night from 8 to 9 p.m. and every Friday night from 8 to 9 p.m. You can follow Damon Galdo on X at Damon Galdo and on Facebook at Damon Galdo. And of course, don't forget to follow me, Alexandra Levine, on X at Alexandra Levi20, on Facebook, Alexandra Levine, AR Levine 85 on Truth Social, on Parler, on TikTok, on Instagram, Rumble. I'm all over the place. And Thursday, I actually will be away. I'll be celebrating Sukkot out of state. So you will be having my good friend Seth Eisenberg fill in for me again. But don't forget, I'm always on every Tuesday and Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m. Don't touch that dial, guys. Again, thank you so much for being with me tonight, remembering October 7th, and continue to pray for the hostages. Don't forget to memorialize the fallen. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, thank you to my affiliate sponsors. Thank you to everyone that watched our show tonight. And again, the people that are watching live will be watching and reposting again. I appreciate that. And thank you, guys. And remember, the reason you listen and the reason you watch is you are no idiot.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.